Hey folks, Greg Gutierrez here. Wanted to talk to you about some new baits from Frenzy Baits. We're bringing in, we just picked these up from Fred Ward, who had the original Wacky Saddle company and Perfect Wacky company. And Fred's decided to retire, so we've talked a little bit, worked out a deal, and Frenzy Baits is now going to be the owner and providers for the new Wacky Saddle and Wacky Perfect O'Rings. Two products to sell that we have. We have the Perfect O'Ring, which is a basically it's an O-ring that allows the bait to fit to sit sideways on your Senko Finesse worm, Magnum worm, and then it has a little O-ring to the side that allows the bait to be hooked sideways perfectly, so you have your hook straight up and down where your Wacky rigged bait is sideways. We also have the Wacky Saddle, which does the same thing, only it allows you to fish your bait Nico rigged also. Nico rigging is one of the newest ways, or one of the hottest ways that's emerging on the East Coast. West Coast has been using this for a while, but the East Coast is really starting to get a grip on it, and we're really starting to catch some fish. But let me show you how to rig them, what we got. We have kits in multiple colors for the Wacky Saddle, kits in multiple colors for the Perfect O-Ring, and then we have kits in black for both. So those come with an applicator, or two applicators, a large and a small, and enough O-rings to be dangerous for a while. So let me show you how I do it, what I'm doing to catch fish. If I'm throwing a Nico rig, for instance, and I want to use a finesse worm like the Reaction Innovations baits. If I want to use a small flirt, 4.95 or a bigger flirt, I use one of the smaller Wacky rings, and let's say I'm just using one of the four colors, black, I got oxblood, green pumpkin, and clear. You just pull out one of your applicators. What I do is I use a little lubricant on them, and I just lube them up. It lasts on there quite a while. Take that, rig it through, slide, oops, wrong-handed here, slide it on. Obviously you put your bait into the tube. I like to use the egg sack, get everything lined up the way it's supposed to be, and just slide it right on. Now what I have is a saddle that has two parts into it that's holding the bait, and then I just use my finesse rod here. It's a eye rod. It's a 712. It's a 2-power medium action, but it's got a really super light tip, anywhere from 6-pound test gamma, 8-pound test gamma, and I'll use just an open hook. Pick your favorite one. That works. Whatever you like works great. But rig it like that. I can nail head it to whatever weight I want. The hook stays up. One of the biggest problems that I've always had throwing a Nico rig is if I used a regular O-ring, the bait just seemed to just fall off. For whatever reason, I'd be fishing with it and it would just fall off. The hook slides out from underneath the O-ring and then I lose it. So that's one way to do it. Also, if you want to throw it Wacky rigged, take it, run it through the saddle sideways. Now what happens is your bait's falling perfectly sideways, so now you could throw a trick worm or a flirt worm in springtime, in and around, throw it on 20-pound test braid, 15-pound test braid, same rod, and you can work it pretty fast and cover a lot of water fishing for those pre-spawn type fish. So good setup like that with the saddle. Different sizes as far as the saddle. I can go with a little bit bigger size. Let's say I want to throw a Wacky rig on a bigger bait, plastic type of bait, or plastic stick bait. I use the Pocket Rocket from Reaction Innovation, and I really like the baits. They really work well for me. Remember that you have a saddle to it, so get that lined up where you want. Now that the saddle's on, I'll use a heavier action, medium action rod. I use a bigger hook, little bit bigger hook, big weed guard, rigging it sideways, Wacky style, and I can throw my plastic stick baits in and around heavy cover now on the Delta, Clear Lake, is where I mainly throw this type of bait. I'm using 10 to 14 pound test gamma, edge fluorocarbon, and medium action I-rod, and this bait and rod combination for me, as far as the saddle and everything, bigger hook, allows me to go after the bigger fish and I don't have to worry about them. The finesse, yes. Power finesse, definitely. Now, as far as working the O-rings, I'll show you some of the O-rings here. We have what's called the perfect O-ring, and it is a perfect O-ring. And the reason why is it allows your bait to be fished perfectly wacky style. That way, and I'll show you what I mean. There's a difference between the two. Is if I take the old standard O-ring, put it on the hook, and I run it through like this, what I found is that you'd be bouncing around and the hook just slides right out. It just doesn't do very good. Consequently, when the fish eats it, they just don't pin up as often. The bait has a tendency to roll, or hook has a tendency to roll sometimes, or when they eat it, because it's so loose in there, it balls up on it. Now with the perfect wacky O-ring, it goes through this small little hole right there. It's perfect. It doesn't want to pull off at all. And then this thing, when it lands with that hook always in that upright position, or sometimes in the down position. But either way, you're getting a bite on it. It's got the right turn on it. Okay, so if I haven't covered them too fast, I'll just kind of go through them again. We've got the perfect wacky O-ring, comes in 3 sizes for finesse. We have the 5-inch Senko size, and then we have the Magnum. That's just for your 6-inch, 7-inch Senkos, bigger plastic stick baits. Then we have the Wacky Saddle. The Wacky Saddle you can use for wacky rigging as well as Nico rigging. Comes in 3 sizes. We have, or 2 sizes, small and large. And comes in 4 different colors. We have it in black, oxblood, green pumpkin, and clear. So go down and get you some of these things. You can also get them once you get the packages or the kits. You can do refills in solid colors. So if you like and prefer a single color over one, you can pick it up as a single color, or you can get combo packs, and there's 6 pieces per, 25 pieces in each one. Keeps you fishing for quite a while. So any questions, look us up online, frenzybaits.com. Check us out, Wacky Saddle and the perfect O-ring. Frenzybaits.com. We'll talk to you later.